I hope all is well. I thank you for your patience as it has been a while since I last uploaded. I recently finished all of my finals and took a bit of time to put my feet up. Now that I have had an opportunity to gather my thoughts, I am back to brainstorming ideas and making more videos. The topic for today was thought up partly due to the current state of world affairs and also from my experiences. The question of purpose is something that everybody has thought of in one form or another. What is my purpose? What have I been put on the planet for? Why am I here? And what am I supposed to do? These questions are not so easy to answer for most of us, and so we continue to grapple with a possible solution as we chart our respective journeys. I have previously remarked that you need a solid foundation before you can proceed forward, and this is also true in the search of a purpose. You must understand who you are, know yourself, before you can possibly think about where you wish to go. I hope this video will help those of you who are searching for a purpose, and to remind those that already have one to remain steadfast in its pursuit. Do not let your convictions be shaken so easily, and if you believe you are walking a path that is fit for yourself, stay true to it. A common misconception about purpose that I held for a long time was that you can only have one. This limited perspective held me back from reaching my full potential at certain stages of my life. I grew up playing a few sports, and athletics has always been and always will be a significant part of my life. My purpose was largely tied up in those sports, and then only one sport when I had to choose which one to put all my effort into. For me, that sport was hockey. It dominated my thinking, and I spent considerable effort training to make myself better. I trained so much that my grades in school suffered as a result of that tunnel vision. Even if that was the case in the past, I do not regret it. When I was really young, hockey gave me a purpose. It gave me a reason to wake up each and every day, and just the thought of improving at that craft was enough. The problem with that tunnel vision, like I said, was that my academics suffered for a while. However, by the time I entered high school, that was when I realized I could do both. My purpose could be tied into both pursuits and not just one or the other. I began to formulate an abundance mindset, and it allowed me to excel in both ventures. Fast forward to now, where school has overtaken the primary slot of concern, but that does not mean I do not go for a skate from time to time. The point is that as I have gone through the years, I have begun to realize that there is so much potential. There is so much someone can accomplish if they set their mind to it. It all starts with you, all from your perspective and how you view yourself. I believed I could not do things that I have no problem doing now. I have those regrets come to the forefront of my mind on occasion, but I force myself to move past them. The best course of action is to live for the present and plan for the future. You can have a main purpose, but do not limit yourself to just that one purpose. Sometimes your main objective can have secondary objectives that act as byproducts of the first. An example could be if your main purpose in life is to live a life on your terms. You may very well find that a secondary purpose is to secure a group of friends that you know you can depend on. A brother to the end type of group where you have their backs and they have yours. That sort of thing. This is merely one example, but you get the picture. It is easy to get fixated on the one purpose you have in mind, but you need to realize there is abundance out there. There is so much potential, and do not limit yourself to just one purpose. Once you find a purpose, it is not as difficult to maintain as it would be to find it in the first place. But having no purpose, or losing sight of your purpose, is very tough to manage. I experienced that phenomenon last year where it seemed like there was no point. I would ask myself questions such as, what am I doing, or what purpose do I have? It really was such a sorry state that I found myself in, but I had to pull myself together somehow. I will let you know, gentlemen, that for any sort of purpose you seek for yourself, it all comes down to you. Do not think it will come from someone else. It may depend on someone else, like a family member, but ultimately it is you who decides whether they are a component of your purpose. I had to find my purpose again and pull myself out of the hole that I dug for myself. There was no blaming anyone else for it. Even in my days when I was still chasing women, the holes I dug for myself were entirely my own, and I accept responsibility for them. As a word of caution, you should not vest your purpose too much in another person, in a relationship, or anything similar. If you say my purpose is tied up in this relationship, then what will you do when, or if, it ends? I had to learn that lesson the hard way, and ever since then, I have grounded my purpose around myself. It is intrinsic to me and nobody else. Even if it involves people I care about to some extent, it is still me who sanctions it. For you, the purpose you seek must be tethered to who you are and who you want to become, because you are the only one present at every single point in your life. Your purpose may undergo alterations and some tweaks here and there, but it must be anchored to the one constant, yourself. It may be hard to accept that not everyone will be around forever, that people come and go more often than they stay, but this is necessary to formulating a proper purpose. Like I said, it all begins with you, and so that means you have to get to know yourself. What are your likes and dislikes? How do you carry yourself? What do you want to achieve? What do you get satisfaction in? You should spend more time knowing what you really desire out of life and not what others expect of you. The impediment people have these days is that they spend so much time getting to know others, but they rarely know themselves. As a result, they do activities that they do not have much affinity or interest in. Spend some time getting to know who you are and then go from there. If your purpose is vested in a good career, then decide which career you would like to train for and end up in. If your purpose is tied up in spending time outdoors, hunting, fishing, etc., then find a way to maximize those pastimes while still maintaining a balanced lifestyle, and checkbook for that matter. The point is, gentlemen, that the finding of a purpose doesn't have to be so astronomical. It doesn't have to be something so extraordinary. It can be simple, such as living a modest lifestyle where the bills are paid and there is extra time for leisure here and there. Evidently, what gives the purpose meaning for an individual is the relative importance they assign to it. Whatever purpose you have, or decide upon, is important because you have deemed it valuable. Sure, your purpose may not be as monumental as other people's, but that is irrelevant. You are not here to compare yourself to others. As long as it brings contentment to you, then that is all that matters. So, find a purpose that suits you and your interests, one that brings about the most satisfaction. Do not limit yourself, but do not get duped into fantasy either. It is better to have a less monumental purpose that is true to yourself than one so gigantic you have to put up a facade to maintain it. Those are all of my thoughts for today's video, and now I ask you for yours. For those of you that have found your purpose, what is it? How are you going about pursuing it, and why do you do it? For those that have not found their purpose yet, what do you think is holding you back, and where do you think it will be found? Comment below with your answers. Thank you for taking the time to watch,